Welcome back to Twist of Fate, where you can find your inspiration to start your entrepreneurial journey to make your dreams come true. This is a continuing series where we're here in San Francisco at Salesforce Tower in this beautiful WeWork meditation room, where I'm hoping to actually help you find your zen in your entrepreneurial journey. So today we're going to talk about a very important topic. As a business owner, a small business owner, the experience you offer to your clients and your customers can be enhanced with a location that they'll both be proud of. Now, I get it. In COVID, there's a new way of work, right? Like, you know, everybody says we can just work in an Airbnb. Wrong. We're here to talk a little bit about, first of all, a professional workplace and a professional culture that has been created by WeWork. So today we brought in Elton Kwok, one of the leadership team at WeWork, to talk a little bit about, one, how I built my business in collaboration with WeWork, but then all the things that WeWork is doing to help startups grow. Elton, my friend, welcome to Twist of Fate.
Thanks for having me. That was a great intro, by the way. I loved it.
Yeah, it was okay? All right, good. You're
Very
interested.
engaging.
You're interested.
Yeah.
Okay, so Elton, what I want to talk a little bit about is I've used WeWork as a product now over a year. Actually, true story. We used to work out of Regis. And I would say what attracted my employees so much to WeWork, and one of them even told me, it's not just about office space. That there's a culture and there's an ecosystem, Doug, you just don't understand. That's what they actually told me. And you know, when the business got to a point, my business, 3 Steps Forward, as a marketing agency, that we were willing to invest in that, we've had a great experience. So we have office space in San Ramon, California. We have office space in Chicago. We have office space in San Diego. And we do use hot desks. We move around. So your product's amazing. So maybe we could talk a little bit about what you do at WeWork, and a little bit more, maybe you could explain what your mission in WeWork and what you guys are trying to do.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, first off. And so I'm Elton. I'm our territory vice president at WeWork, and I oversee our California, Nevada business. I've been with the company since 2015.
Big states, right?
Huge states.
Yeah.
It's a great geography, a great footprint for the company. And the majority of our business, in terms of our biggest markets in California, are basically San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and Los Angeles. But we also have a lot of presence in the suburban areas like San Ramon, where you're based, San Jose, Silicon Valley, and Palo Alto, Marin, Mill Valley, San Diego, Orange County, et cetera. So we're pretty distributed. So no matter where you live, you have a place to work that's hopefully really close to you, so you can get this experience as well. And then in Nevada, we're in Las Vegas. So we have 2 locations, Las Vegas. It's doing exceptionally well. And there's just a lot of small businesses and enterprises that are based there. And we're really excited to kind of just see what that growth looks like there.
Which one is home for you then? Where's home base?
Yeah.
Is it California or Nevada? I'm saying for you personally.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm originally from Los Angeles, so born and raised in Los Angeles. I went to the university.
What does that mean? What part of Pasadena?
Yeah, so I grew up in a small suburban area called Diamond Bar, California. What's unique about that is it was actually a city that is mainly immigrants. So I was a first generation college student.
Oh, wow.
Was the first in my family to go to college.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Great job.
Thanks. I think that's a huge deal. And I moved to New York afterwards, pursue a financial services degree. I studied engineering as an undergrad, civil engineering. So wanted to be essentially in the construction field, building hotels. But eventually I found out about WeWork, and it encompasses everything I loved.
Where did you live in New York?
I lived in Manhattan in the financial district.
So you know we share this in common.
You did as well.
My wife was doing her residency, so we lived at Wall Street and Broadway.
Okay.
At right in the core of the financial district.
Fulton and Water.
Yeah.
So very close to you.
Was it? So the reason why we did is because subprime had happened, and rent was at historic lows. So we were able to get like a nice place.
Yeah.
Even though now it's probably way beyond.
It's crazy now there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apartment rental prices are insane. My sister lives there now.
Okay, great.
And she lives in Brooklyn. She moved from Manhattan to Brooklyn because the rental prices are so insane.
Yeah.
But where I was headed with that is, so I moved to New York, pursued the professional career of financial services in one of the big banks, thought that was going to be my path, and then realized I wasn't happy. I couldn't see myself going up that ladder. And one day, late at night, in Financial District, WeWork's headquarters was based there. So I was walking home in my full-on suit every single day, had the same uniform. It was 11 p.m. coming back, and I saw a bunch of people exiting an office building. And they were very happy, cheery, excited, feeling engaged. And I was like, what company is that?
They did not look like bankers, right?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I can say that. Like,
Right?
when you look at the crowd at WeWork, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, come as you are.
Yeah, be authentic.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm wearing jeans and, a button down, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I asked someone there, like, as I was walking back home, like where they work, and they said WeWork. So the moment I got home, I basically researched it, Googled it, and I put in my application, and the rest is history. 7 years later, I'm still here.
Wow, yeah. But that was very innovative at the time. Like share space or office space like that. Like, I mean, there was Regis, but like I said, we'll get into that. WeWork's a little different, like the way you guys compete. So then, what do you feel is? So maybe to my listeners out there, let's talk about what WeWork is, and like essentially, it's not just office space, but I'd love to hear from you. Like, how would you describe like what the mission of WeWork is?
Yeah. So our mission is to empower tomorrow's day at work, but what we really are is essentially beautifully designed and inspired workplaces for people to convene, connect, share experiences, and have a place to just work no matter where they are. So if you are somewhere in Los Angeles or in London or in Paris, Singapore, New York, there's a place for you to walk in, have a comfortable workplace, have an experience and a very consistent experience to just do your work and be productive, meet with colleagues, meet with external clients, or do whatever you need. Have a phone booth, have a conference room for your call, etc. It's also perfect for students. A lot of students like to come to WeWork and they like to study there.
I've met some. Oh,
you did?
Yeah. I've met some of the university kids at different WeWorks.
Yeah.
I do see that that's a thing now.
Yeah, people love studying. I mean, it's like, better than library, right?
No, exactly. So it's fascinating because I look at it and I go, why don't you just go to the student union? Or why don't you just go to on campus? And they go, because it's not as cool as WeWork. And I was like, I said, is it the free kombucha? And they go, no, Doug, it's not that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's this experience that you guys are creating a unique experience. Here's a good example.
Sure.
So I was invited by one of your colleagues to the San Francisco Changemakers series.
Of course.
And this, to my listeners, you don't know, it's essentially bringing people and startups together to compete on environmental climate change solutions. Now, I'm not gonna get into the politics of climate change because I don't have to. If you're living anywhere out there, I'm pretty sure you're seeing rain, snow, earthquakes, wildfires. Come on, like climate change, it is what it is. Like it's here to stay. And I had such a positive experience not just meeting you, but I can say that you guys hosted an event that not only did I meet Mayor London Breed, the mayor of San Francisco, I also met all of the contestants. And what you don't know is one of the results of that, we are partnering with Alga Biosciences to provide a pathway to methane-free cows, which is a future episode you're gonna hear about. We are seeking a partnership with Spur, which is another environmental change nonprofit. And, for me, that goes beyond a workplace. That's not just about showing up to work and having a place just for my clients and my customers. Now it's like you guys have created this culture of innovation.
Yeah.
Now, you work with a lot of initiatives for startups. Is that some of the things you do, or could you talk about that?
Sure. On the side, I like to mentor startups and companies, early stage founders, and I also do that with First Round Capital as part of their first track program. Also try to connect with the startup community as much as I can. I also had a podcast called Fish Sauce Podcast back in the day.
No, you have to tell my listeners about this.
I have to tell them
because I
about
think
it.
It's cool. I think this is a good thing.
We're on a little bit of a hiatus, but eventually maybe we'll bring it back again. But we essentially interviewed up-and-coming Asian American founders and entrepreneurs who took the leap of faith from their traditional job, whether it was finance, accounting, being a doctor, or lawyer, to do something that was a little bit risky, where they could pursue their passion. So that was awesome. And
what inspired you to do that? What is it a pride thing? Like you were almost the embodiment of what you're talking about, right? Like first generation, you were in the financial securities industry, you hated your job to some extent, and then you went out and found something cool, right? Yeah. Was it from that?
It was personal as well as the community that I was kind of like essentially growing up in. A lot of my friends, the community around that, we all experienced the same thing. Our parents, because we were first generation, wanted us to have stability in our career. And we wanted to have something more conservative that didn't really move around. There's no risk. So there's only a couple of basically jobs that anyone could do that offers that stability. You study engineering, and then you go into either finance, law, being a doctor, or something else. And there weren't many people who joined startups or wanted to become a founder, raise capital, et cetera. So it was pretty early on, but now hopefully that inspired a lot of people to take the leap of faith.
It's changing. I do think
it's changing a little bit.
I have several Asian American employees in my company.
That's awesome.
That I'm super proud of them, because think of it this way, they chose to work in a black-owned business, 100% black-owned business. I bootstrapped the company myself. I took no venture capital, no private equity money, none of that. And they want to be a force of change to make the world a better place, because that's our mission, right? We help other startups succeed, and in that way, we feel we're making the world a better place. So, again, kudos to that community. I hope you start that podcast up, because I want you to inspire more. So there's other things you guys are doing in the startup world. I think there was one, maybe it was something you could apply for free office space, I think, or it doesn't work like that. It's basically, I believe you apply, and then it's kind of like a competition, but then there's certain locations that you can get potentially office space at a discounted rate or something like this.
So we launched Growth Academy, which is what I think you're talking about in New York City and in London. So it basically allows for up-and-coming early-stage companies to apply, and then essentially qualify for highly discounted space in some of our markets. So we got a huge amount of applications early on when we launched that about a quarter ago or two. And it basically is to help startups get off the ground. As you mentioned, it's not just about the office space. It's about the culture. It's about the productivity. It's about the employee happiness. It's about the desire for wanting to build community and build the essentially professional relationships that help build upon someone's career. And when a company is early on in early stage, they need as much help as they can get. And one thing is in the office, but hopefully they get connections out of that.
Sure.
To meet someone like you, or a fellow investor, or maybe a lawyer, accountant that they may not be able to hire on staff, but have someone do it on part-time for them. So I think that's the thing that we're trying to cultivate, this community that's greater than just one company, but amongst each other.
Great segue that I want to send a shout out to the community team at San Ramon, because you should know. Actually, I'm going to even be more specific. Rachel, I know you're listening. So one of the workers there, her name's Rachel, and she shared with me that there was a call, and they had discussed that, it's Black Business Month. And that it's interesting, she asked, is it okay? But she said, hey, Doug, we were talking, and that, we're really proud that you're in our space and that you're a force of change in some of the things you're doing. Because, we're partnered with the NBA, we're partnered with the American Hockey League, and that they're so proud of it that they were going to play Twist of Fate episodes in the lobby so that they could demonstrate our Black business.
I love it.
That we're proud of. Yeah. And that really touched me. I can tell you, I didn't, to break the fourth wall, and I just want all my founders to hear this, that you don't start companies to make money. You start companies to solve problems. And if you're passionate about it and rigorous enough, the money will come. You have to believe that. And one of the things that we're all trying to do is make the world a better place. Like, it was so inspiring to me as a Black business owner to be acknowledged by your community team in that way. I mean, you should be proud, my friend. Like, it's so much more than just a workspace to me.
Thanks for sharing that. I mean, I personally feel proud of the team every single day. I'm so grateful for the people that we have on the team. And there's just so many amazing things that happen across the board globally around the company that we're able to essentially see and hopefully make an impact on that. Yeah, I wake up every morning feeling grateful. Like, the value gratitude is big, high on my list.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you knew, there's some work I do with the San Diego Gulls where during regular season, I actually give the Military Veteran Hero of the Game Award. And part of the, my listeners may want to know the reason why veterans are special with me. My grandfather was a World War II Master Sergeant. And he had all these quotes and these things that he taught me that made me, let's say, like a better businessman and a better man in life. Like, when at peace, prepare for war. And like, even now you'll see I habitually get up at like 4:30 or 5 a.m. Because it's like, you have to seize the day, right? Like, so one of the things that I noticed is that like WeWork does some things for veterans or veteran-owned businesses. And I don't know, is there any partnerships or I think there's a couple companies that I've seen that you guys work with on the veteran side.
We used to have veterans in residence. And so that is a program that we have to support veteran-based companies. And what we try to do is give them a preferred rate to come into WeWork. And we also try to pick certain locations where more veteran companies can go, veteran-founded companies can go into. So they have that community built inside of it. So
it's in San Diego.
We have one in San Diego, one in Denver, and a few others.
Oh, really? Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have one in San Francisco as well.
What do you feel is the future of work?
It's a great question. So, one, I think the world is actively changing, and how people work is rapidly changing in front of our eyes. And I think the topic of what work is can't be at a more interesting moment than it is today. Like, I don't think we've ever seen that big of a shift until COVID happened, which I think for us, it was actually a blessing in disguise, because I think it accelerated our basically growth in terms of what WeWork looks like for the average worker, company, founder, freelancer, student, etc. And so our CEO likes to say this a lot.
You say that because where they used to work, there was a shift, right? Like, they maybe not have to stay at home base or headquarters or on campus, but then they don't want to go back to their apartments. So they're looking for a new place to go.
They're looking for an intersection of that. They're looking for flexibility at its key, right? The ability to work anywhere, wherever they want, but they don't necessarily want to work at their apartment or at a coffee shop. Coffee shop can be too loud. Their apartment may not have enough rooms for privacy. They may be having too many distractions at home. So WeWork offers that perfect combination of comfortable, inspired workplaces for you to just get things done, and also hopefully build upon your career as well. And one of the things that I think is interesting as people think about what their future of work looks like is, how do you give the benefit to the employee to make their decisions? And so one of the things that we did during COVID was launch an all-access membership and a on-demand membership. And what that does is it opens up.
You have to explain. So all access and you have to explain to me.
Okay. So all access is essentially our global passport. You pay $299 and you're able to go into any WeWork location
per month.
Per month, exactly. Good clarification. Any WeWork location you want around the world. And I think that's awesome, because companies can offer it to their employees as an employee benefit, or individuals can buy it as just their opportunity to work outside of their apartment or outside of their home.
And it's not at one particular WeWork. They can go, like, you could work at a different WeWork every day.
Exactly. You could work in San Ramon today, Salesforce Tower tomorrow, Palo Alto the next day, San Diego if you're going on a long weekend the next day. And you essentially get to stop in and have a very consistent, comfortable experience no matter where you are. So that's a new product that we launched during COVID, and it is very, very popular amongst both employees as well as companies.
Was it scary to offer that?
I think it was a very exciting time to offer it because we were listening to what our customers had to say, our members had to say, and they wanted the flexibility to work anywhere. And as you were thinking about companies making decisions and allowing essentially employees to have a little bit more of the say, they wanted to also work anywhere. And we wanted to offer a product that kind of met their needs and also met the people who are smaller companies, their own individual independent contractor, to be able to hop in wherever they want. And one of the big benefits is people didn't know where they were going to be a couple months at a time. People were traveling, they were moving around, but they still needed to work. And All Access essentially offered that opportunity for them.
Did it create any problems?
In the very beginning, I mean, we had to shift the way we built our operations and the experience that we had for all the members. One of the beautiful things that we have is we use Medallia to measure NPS. What NPS is, Net Promoter Scores. It's the likelihood for a customer to basically refer the product to another customer. And that's how we essentially rate ourselves based off our customer feedback if we're doing well or not. So our private office members love WeWork, and they always have been. We've essentially mastered that hospitality experience and the cultural experience that comes with it. As All Access launched, we got a lot of good feedback. They want a quiet space, which we offer now. They wanted more places to work that were...
I was going to say, so,
Yeah.
so I have to admit
Yeah.
that I'm definitely a noise pollution contributor. I mean, some things in life, right? Like, I don't take responsibility for this voice that I have, but it just projects.
Yeah.
And
It's a great
drove
voice.
the All Access people crazy. So, but that was, I'll tell you, your community team, again, San Ramon, like they completely helped me with that. Don't get me wrong, you have like booths and stuff like this. Phone booths. But I mean, I could project through a phone booth. Like,
Are you sure?
No, oh no,
Are you sure?
100%. Okay. So I'll tell you what they did. They actually, this is a really cool story. What they decided to do, because one, they definitely didn't want to mute me. They actually put like soundproofing like on my glass in my private office, where like now like you can't hear anything even pass through there. So I know when I'm really amped up or like I'm doing a webinar or something like that, like they more or less assisted me in becoming more like soundproof, because look, I'm not like to any of the members there, like I'm not there to annoy you. Like I don't purposely want to do that. But I'm telling you, I think that All Access brought changes in the environment that I'm telling you, your team's real time, we're figuring that out.
That's great. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And it's a new customer base as well. It's
The students, this is where the students came.
It's at a price point that a lot of people can't afford, and it activates the common spaces in a new way. And then on demand
Now let's talk about on demand.
On demand is one of my favorite products, because what I like to do is what I like to say is you can basically download the app and then go to a WeWork within the minute. And so you can book a conference room if you're traveling for a conference and you need a place to meet. And it's not your hotel, because that may be crowded and busy as well. And you need to have a professional setting, book a conference room on the on-demand app. Or you need a day to work because you're traveling, you need a day to hop in, you don't know where else to go, book an on-demand day. And it's really
So it's kind of like for those little things that pop up, and then you don't have to have this like, kind of commitment monthly or something like that. These things happen. So, see, I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of WeWork stories, right? So I believe this was a week ago. I hosted an NFT and crypto workshop in Miami, Florida. And one of the things I was able to offer to the group was we could host it at WeWork. And I mean, this is my comment to a lot of you business owners that are small business owners. It's you may not have the infrastructure to offer certain things, but because of the scale of what you guys have built, that flexibility, that on-demand would be great for people that need to host like networking socials, or because you have all these different room sizes, like this cool place that we're in, right? Like, I think that's really unique about WeWork versus other, you could just rent an office space somewhere, right? Like it's just not the same, right?
And the things that that are guaranteed. There's an amazing community team, which is our staff in the building that greets you and takes care of you the moment you walk in. There's events that happen on a weekly basis throughout. Our members love events, whether it's the weekly happy hour or the Monday welcome. There's events that are happening across the board, no matter what WeWork you're going to. Also, there's
And they're all
AC.
different at different WeWorks too. There's like all kinds of things.
Exactly. The events vary, and they very much are based on what our members like at that location. But it's good because it provides an opportunity for connection to happen. And that's what we want to cultivate and build. One of the things that has been happening around the world is as heat and temperatures have been raising, a lot of individuals have been booking on-demand passes to essentially get into an office or a place that has AC, that they can be at for the whole day. Yeah. And that has been wildly popular. And so that's awesome. At Salesforce Tower, people bring their families, they bring their friends to just sometimes hang out for the whole day, get a little bit of work done, but enjoy the 360 views of San Francisco.
I would say this Salesforce Tower, like, you have to be here to really believe it. Like, this, I mean, I think the dream for everybody is like, they want their house to look like this, but you guys are like, rolling it out where it's just comfortable couches, drinks, like it's a really cool place.
Yeah, it's a really amazing experience, and we're always trying to innovate on that as well, which I think is our favorite part. We listen to what our members want, and we're building upon it to try to create an even better experience every single day.
Are you guys, if you don't mind me asking, are you guys still expanding and like getting new locations? Like, I'm curious for throughout the United States, like I know the bigger metropolitan cities have it. And you mentioned suburbs, which is, I see that, but is there like, you know, in the Midwest or other places, are you still expanding?
We are. We're focused on strategic and sustainable growth, different from where we had in the past, where it was just rapid expansion. So based off of very targeted markets that are growth markets and profitable markets, we are working with landlords to essentially figure out what our growth looks like. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of planning and relationship building to do so. So we're engaging in those conversations, and we'll see what that looks like. But you know, we are excited to grow at a very sustainable rate.
Elton, you have to forgive my ignorance.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with the business model of WeWork. So you had mentioned you talk with your landlords. Is it that you rent space from someone that owns the building, or do you own your own buildings, or it's like a hybrid?
So
I just don't know.
We don't own our buildings, so we took leases on space, and then we got TI from our landlords to build out the space, and then we offer essentially the flexible membership model for people to rent out office space, sign up for all access, on demand, rent out conference rooms. So we have a variety of membership revenue streams where people can essentially use WeWork for, and that's how we make money. And then we provide all the services that come with it.
So you're not a real estate holding group. It's more you are a facilitator, if anything, of like nice, clean, contemporary, modern workspace. And then you just work it out with those that own properties and things to expand.
I'd say we're at the intersection of real estate and hospitality, and then we're powered by technology in many ways, which makes WeWork so convenient and easy to use for the general consumer.
So then, and then you should know we have a lot of international listeners. So what is the WeWork footprint, you know, in the rest of the world, like beyond the United States? So
we have globally over 770 locations. I don't know the international footprint versus the US footprint, but that's how many locations we have globally.
And now, so you focus exclusively on Nevada and California, but have you seen any of the international locations?
Yeah. So through my tenure across the last 7 years, I visited our London location, some of our Asia locations.
Where in Asia?
Where in Asia?
It's important. I mean, we were talking about Asian culture.
It's true. I've been to some of our Singapore locations, some in Indonesia, China as well. And oftentimes, to be honest, it's when I'm taking personal travel. I'm on vacation. I happen to be in one of those cities, and I stop in.
Yeah.
I meet the team. I grab a cup of coffee. maybe a kombucha, and they offer me a great number of just local travel tips, which I love. Our community teams are so embedded in the communities that they live in that it's so amazing to just have a friendly face to talk to. And one of the things, as you walk into the Salesforce Tower location, you'll see Welcome Home, because we want every space to feel like it's your home. It's an extension of your home. And the reason why I emphasize the comfortability and consistency is no matter which WeWork you walk into, you'll know it's a WeWork because it feels consistent in that manner. So you feel a little bit of comfort.
So to be transparent, I travel to 40 countries, over 1 million miles. I have 2 48-page passports.
Wow.
So I'll tell you why I asked this question about international. Because having worked a lot in Japan, South Korea, ASEAN, I feel the office culture is actually distinctly different in what San Francisco Bay Area, what we define the how we work, versus there. And I was curious of, do you see any differences in events or approach, or is it this WeWork experience I have here you have brought out there?
I'd say from the operational side of things, the processes in terms of how we operate our space, you'll probably find similarities there. The services and offerings may be very, very similar. I would say from the people we hire, the events that we cultivate and host, our member demographic, that may differ based off of each local region.
Sure.
And that's a little bit more localized.
Sure.
But yeah, you'll get a certain element that feels very similar, and then you'll get essentially the icing on top, which has the local intricacies in it. So what we like to say is like we're localized from a company standpoint, but global in the way we structure ourselves.
Love it.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
So for me, I think part of growth for me as a business is to offer our services more internationally. So I have 6 international clients.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to do is to bring the experience of what my company does to them. Could be a part of WeWork.
Yeah.
So that could be a future program maybe you want to think about. It's
Yeah, I'll think about it.
like as some of these startups you work with move to other countries, that that could be a way that we could facilitate like clients to come in and stuff like that.
One of the beautiful things about WeWork is it offers the ability for companies to scale easily because they're only dealing with one company in terms of what their office footprint looks like as they scale, or their employee footprint looks like. And so you don't have to work with the local landlord in every single distinct country that you go to.
Correct.
You're
That's
working
correct.
with one operator across the board, and hopefully the ease for that transaction is as simple as possible.
Okay, well, next time you're out in Asia, you got to let me know as you move around,
Okay.
because you never know. Maybe I'll see you out there.
Maybe I'll see you out there. Yeah.
Okay, so, for my final thoughts, I really want to look to the entrepreneurs and the small business owners that are evaluating when is the time to invest in office space. And to me, my strongest recommendation to you is, you should have already invested in that. I personally can say that my employee work productivity improved when I invested in spaces at WeWork. I also can say that my clients, I can see the thrill and the appreciation in their eye to visit us at our offices, again, brought forth by WeWork. So it's not just a workplace, it's a culture. So that is my thought for you today. And Elton, thanks for spending some time and coming and chatting with me. And honestly, my greatest appreciation to your community teams, your corporate team. We would not be able to host even here at this amazing space without you. It definitely feels like that's more than us being just a client of you. It's also like a mutual partnership to some extent. So thank you, Elton. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Doug. Really appreciate it.
Okay, and guys, if you like this content, subscribe, share, because we're trying to offer this free content to as many of you to go out there, to chase your dreams, to make them come true, and start your entrepreneurial journey with Twist of Fate. Looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Twist of Fate is hosted by Doug Younger. It's produced by John Lenvid and Matthew Brown at Ezo Creative. Moni Yu designs our graphics, and Enrique Pimentel manages our digital life. Our theme music is by Jamie Bathgate. Special thanks to all of our patrons. You can support the show by visiting patreon.com/twistoffate podcast. Thanks for listening.